There's a rhythm to peace, I've come to realize. The kind of rhythm you don't notice until it's interrupted, like the low hum of a fridge you only hear when it stops, or the steady tick of a clock when the power cuts out. Life with Anna, my wife, had that rhythm. A comforting, unspoken beat that moved through the walls of our home, morning cartoons for the kids, scrambled eggs sizzling on the pan, the soft baby gurgles from the nursery down the hall. And in between it all, her laugh. That laugh could fill a room, warm it up like sunlight on old hardwood floors. We had a beautiful family. I don't say that with pride or sarcasm, I say it like someone remembering a dream, someone trying to hold on to something they once had their arms around. 2 kids, Max, 7, and Chloe, 5, and our youngest, Ellie, just 6 months old. We lived in a modest house on a cul-de-sac in Oregon, surrounded by hedges and other families that still waved when they saw you watering your lawn. I worked construction. Union gig. Good benefits, hard work. And Anna? She stayed home with the kids. She used to be a dental assistant, but after Ellie was born, she said she wanted to focus on being a full-time mom. I supported it. I supported everything she wanted. I thought that's what love was supposed to be. And for a while, it was enough. It started with little things. The quiet changes. She stopped baking. Anna used to bake when she was happy, cookies, muffins, banana bread even though the kids hated bananas. The oven would be on when I walked in, the house thick with cinnamon or chocolate chips. Then one day, it stopped. Then came the phone. She was always on it. Thumb twitching like she was texting someone even during dinner. If I asked who, she said her sister, or group chats, or nothing. I believed her. That's what trust is, right? Wrong. It was a Sunday when everything cracked. I was on the porch tightening the bolts on Max's bike seat. He was complaining that it wobbled when he rode it, and I promised I'd fix it before lunch. That's when Max came out, looking worried, real worried, like he just saw something on TV he wasn't supposed to. "Dad," he whispered. "There's a man in Mom's room." I blinked. "What?" "In your room," he said. He went in with her, and Mom told me and Chloe to stay in our room. But I heard stuff. I dropped the wrench. My fingers turned cold even though the sun was warm on my back. "What kind of stuff, Max?" He looked down, embarrassed. The bed was banging. Like really hard. Anne. Mom was making noises. Like crying, but not really crying. It was weird. I don't remember walking inside. I don't remember going up the stairs. I remember the hallway was dead silent. I remember standing in front of our bedroom door, feeling like I was standing on a cliff's edge, looking down into something black and bottomless. I knocked. No answer. I turned the knob and walked in. And there they were, Anna, wrapped in a bedsheet, breathless and flushed, and some guy beside her, shirtless, tan, maybe mid-30s, with that greasy, too confident smirk like he knew he wasn't going to get punched. "What the hell is this?" I asked. Anna didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just sighed, like she was bored of the question. "This is Chris," she said. "He's helping me with something." Chris gave me a nod like we were in a PDA meeting and not the middle of my life falling apart. "You need to get out," I told him, trying to keep my hands at my sides. I was shaking. I wasn't even mad. Not yet. Just confused. Like I'd stepped into the wrong house, or someone else's story. Chris didn't flinch. Not when I told him to leave. Not when I stepped forward and looked him square in the eye like I used to look at guys on job sites who thought they could cut corners and not get called out. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't a mistake. This was something else. Anna got out of bed like it was nothing, like I had just interrupted a manicure. She pulled her robe off the doorknob and slipped it over her shoulders. "He's leaving," she said to me, voice flat. "You don't need to act like a caveman. Act like a—" "Go downstairs," she said, cutting me off. "I'll talk to you in a minute." Chris finally moved. Slid out of the bed like a cat and collected his jeans from the floor. No underwear. No shame. He walked past me, barefoot, like he owned the place, like I was the stranger in my own home. He didn't say a word. I heard the front door open, then shut. And then it was just me and Anna. She didn't speak right away. Just sat on the edge of the bed and looked at the floor. "You want to tell me what the hell just happened?" I asked. She shrugged. "It's not what you think." I laughed, short, cold. "Really? 'Cause it looked exactly like what I think." "I needed him," she said, eyes still low. "You wouldn't understand." "You needed him?" My voice cracked. "You needed some guy you picked up off the street to screw you in our bed?" She didn't flinch. "I gave him a ride. He needed help." One thing led to another. I stared at her, waiting for her to realize what she was saying. Waiting for guilt. Shame. Something. But nothing came. She looked at me then, really looked at me. And there was something behind her eyes I'd never seen before. Not anger. Not regret. Power. That's the only way I can describe it. She leaned forward. "I told him what I needed," she said slowly. "I told him who I wanted gone." My heart sank. "What?" "Two people," she said. "I made a deal. He wanted me. I wanted something done. We both got what we wanted." I couldn't speak. "I didn't kill them," she said. "He did. I just suggested it." My legs gave out, and I sat on the dresser behind me, hands trembling. "Who?" She stood, tying the robe tighter, pacing now like she was trying to decide whether to let me in or shut me out completely. "Alicia," she said. "And Brent." I froze. "Brent from church?" She nodded. "And Alicia from the school board." I swallowed hard. "Why?" Her eyes narrowed. "Because they thought they were better than me. They talked. They spread rumors. Alicia told Chloe not to hang out with her daughter because she heard I was trashy. Brent," she paused, jaw tightening. "Brent put his hands on me once. At a fundraiser. Grabbed my waist when you were parking the car. Told me I should smile more. So you had them killed?" She didn't answer. "You had our daughter sit upstairs and listen to—" I stopped. I couldn't even say it. I felt sick. "You wouldn't have understood," she said again, softly this time. "You're right," I whispered. "I don't." I slept on the couch that night. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stared at the ceiling and listened to the hum of the fridge, the rustle of the trees outside the open window. Max came down once, around midnight, dragging his blanket. "Is Mommy mad?" he asked. I pulled him close and kissed his forehead. "No, buddy," I whispered. "She's just tired." The smell of pancakes in the morning used to be a good thing. Warm. Comforting. Familiar. Like everything was okay. But that morning, it hit me like poison in the air, too sweet, too heavy, like it was trying to cover up something rotting beneath the surface. Anna flipped them on the griddle like she hadn't confessed to accessory to murder the night before. Like she hadn't slept with a stranger while our kid sat upstairs listening through thin drywall. She even hummed some song from her high school days, something she used to play in the car when we first started dating. Chloe and Max sat at the table, nervously glancing between her and me. I poured orange juice with a hand that wouldn't stop shaking. My face must have looked like it belonged to a different man, one they didn't recognize. "You okay, Daddy?" Chloe asked, her little head tilting to the side. "Yeah, sweetie," I lied. "Just didn't sleep too well." Anna turned to me then, spatula in hand, and smiled. "We should take the kids to the lake this weekend." I stared at her. "Maybe bring a picnic," she added. "Something simple. Fresh air could be good for all of us." I didn't answer. That afternoon, I went out to the garage and sat on my toolbox for over an hour, just staring at the cement floor. I wasn't thinking about leaving. I was thinking about what I'd be leaving behind, Max's third-grade science project still half-built on the workbench. Chloe's pink bike with the tassels she never let me cut off. Ellie's stroller folded near the wall, collecting dust because Anna never took her for walks anymore. I wasn't the type of man who solved problems with fists or guns. I believed in working hard, loving your family, doing right even when it hurt. But none of that prepared me for this. How do you love someone who's capable of orchestrating death? How do you sleep next to a woman who moans for strangers and rewards them with names to kill? That night, I waited until the kids were asleep. I cornered Anna in the laundry room while the washer spun like a heart in distress. "I want the truth," I said. She didn't look surprised. "I told you the truth," she replied. "No, you told me part of it. I want to know everything. I want to know why you're doing this. Who that man really was. What he did. Where you found him." She sighed and dropped a towel into the basket. "His name isn't Chris. Start talking." She leaned against the dryer like she was getting cozy. Like this was a campfire story and not a confession of insanity. "I picked him up near Ash Grove," she said. "His name's Logan. He's not from here. He was hitchhiking, no shoes, nothing but a duffel bag and that smug little smile. Said he just got out of something, prison maybe. Didn't say much at first. But then. I don't know. Something clicked." "You clicked with a stranger? Don't make it sound cheap," she said. "He listened. He didn't ask questions. He let me talk. And when I said I hated certain people, when I said I wanted them gone, he asked me for one thing in return." She didn't say it, but I didn't need her to. I could still hear the sound Max described. The banging. The moaning. My kids in their room, confused and scared. "You wanted them dead so you could feel powerful," I said. "Is that it?" "I wanted to feel like I mattered," she said, and for the first time in a long time, her voice cracked. "I wanted someone to do something for me instead of me always doing for everyone else. You. The kids. The damn PTA. So you bought a murder for sex arrangement?" She stood there, arms crossed, eyes fierce, daring me to deny it. "Don't pretend you ever really saw me," she said again, softer this time. "You loved the version of me that cooked pancakes, stayed thin after 3 kids, smiled for pictures, and kept quiet when she was tired." I wanted to yell. I wanted to shake her and ask what kind of mother says something like that. But instead, I stared at the laundry room wall behind her, watching a spider crawl down into the crack near the baseboard. "You could have talked to me," I finally said. "You could have told me you were hurting. Or angry. Or whatever the hell this is." She laughed, sharp, bitter. "And what would you have done? Rubbed my shoulders? Told me to take a bath? You don't get it, do you? I didn't want help. I wanted control." There it was. The thing she wouldn't say before. The sickness at the center of her smile. "I liked telling him what to do," she went on. "I liked knowing that a man, a strong man, would kill if I asked him to. Do you have any idea what that kind of power feels like?" I looked at her, this woman I'd once kissed under the 4th of July fireworks while Max slept on a blanket between us. The same woman who'd cried when Chloe was born because she was perfect. The woman I held while she sobbed after her mother's funeral. That woman was gone. Or maybe this had always been in her, buried deep, waiting for something to wake it up. I slept in my truck that night. The engine off, windows cracked, wrapped in a musty blanket from a job site and the kind of dread that seeps into your bones. I dreamed of Ellie crying and no one picking her up. Of Chloe asking me why mommy was different. Of Max, older, angry, staring at me like I let this happen. When I came inside the next morning, the kids were eating cereal. Anna was on the porch in her robe, smoking a cigarette. She didn't even smoke. I stood in the hallway, listening to the spoons scrape against the bowls. That rhythm again. That quiet pulse of normal life, still beating somehow, like the house didn't know what was happening inside its walls. "Daddy," Chloe whispered, "is mommy sick?" I knelt beside her. "No, baby," I said, brushing her hair back. "Mommy's just confused." That week, I started keeping a notebook. I wrote down everything she said. Everything she did. I googled names late at night. Alicia's obituary was brief and vague. Car accident, single vehicle. But Brent? Brent had no obituary. Only a news article that said he'd been reported missing 2 weeks ago. His car was still in the church lot. It didn't take much to connect the dots. The worst part was how easily she slipped back into her mother role. Making lunches. Folding laundry. Singing to Ellie in the nursery while I stood in the doorway like a ghost. But her eyes gave her away. There was a glint in them now, something sharp and knowing. Like she'd tasted blood and liked it. One evening, Max was in the backyard playing with his toy sword when he came running in, out of breath. "There's a man in the shed," he said. I stood up so fast I knocked over my beer. "What?" "In the shed," he whispered. "He's just sitting there. He looks dirty." I walked out, heart thudding. Opened the creaky door. And there he was. Logan. Chris. The stranger with no shoes. Sitting on an overturned bucket, shirtless again, like he belonged here. Like he was waiting. "Why'd you come back?" I asked. Logan tilted his head, squinting at the sunlight through the cracks in the shed walls like a man who hadn't seen daylight in years. His shoulders were lean and burnt, tattooed with symbols I didn't recognize. "Because she wanted me to," he said. "She's not finished." My throat tightened. "Finished with what?" He smirked. "Cleaning up." I stepped closer. "What does that mean?" He shrugged. "Depends on you, I guess." I clenched my fists. "What the hell did she promise you this time?" Logan leaned forward, elbows on knees, voice low. "Same thing she always does. That if I do what she says, she'll let me be close to her. Real close." My jaw locked. "And that's enough for you?" He smiled again, but this time it was different. "Sad, maybe. You'd be surprised how far men will go for a woman who makes them feel like gods." I went back inside, heart pounding, hands slick with sweat. Anna was at the sink washing grapes like it was a normal Tuesday. She looked over her shoulder and said, "He's back, isn't he? You sent him?" "I told you," she said, calmly, drying her hands. "There are more people that need to go." My skin crawled. "Who?" She gave me a long look, then said, "You." For a second, I thought she was joking. But there was no grin. No wink. Just that cold, flat stare she'd perfected in the mirror. "You think I'm going to let you destroy this family," she said. "You think you're going to take the kids, tell the police, turn everyone against me. But you won't. You can't. Because you're too weak." I stepped back. "You're insane." "No," she said. "I'm awake. And I'm not going back to being anyone's little wife." Not yours. Not anyone's. That night, I didn't sleep. I stayed in the living room with the shotgun my dad left me in the crawlspace years ago. I sat on the floor with the barrel across my lap and waited for a sound, a footstep, a door creak, a breath that didn't belong. But nothing came. At sunrise, I made breakfast for the kids and packed their bags. "Where are we going?" Chloe asked, holding her stuffed bunny. "For a drive," I said. "Just a little trip, okay?" Anna appeared in the hallway, hair a mess, robe open just enough to be suggestive. "You're not taking them," she said. "I'm not asking." She stepped closer. "They need their mother. They need protection," I said, louder than I meant to. "From who?" she said sweetly. "From the woman who carried them for 9 months? Who stayed up all night when they had fevers? Who gave up her life to raise them?" "No," I said. "From the woman who sends killers to my shed." We stared at each other. For the first time since this began, I saw fear in her eyes. Just a flicker. A twitch at the corner of her lip. It passed quickly, but it was there. I dropped the kids off at my sister Megan's place an hour outside town. Told her only part of the truth, that Anna wasn't well. That I needed space. She hugged me, fed the kids lunch, and promised to keep them safe. On the drive back, I didn't cry. I thought I would. But I didn't. All I felt was cold. Not angry. Not broken. Just done. When I got home, Logan was gone. The shed was empty except for the faint smell of sweat and something bitter, maybe blood. I didn't check too closely. Anna was in the kitchen, drinking wine from the bottle. "You're going to kill me, aren't you?" she said. "No," I said, stepping into the kitchen. "I'm not going to kill you." Anna laughed into the wine bottle, but it sounded hollow. "Then what, huh? You're gonna forgive me again? Take me to church, beg for counseling? Save me from myself? I'm done saving you." I walked past her. Not to hurt her. Not to plead. I just needed to know if what I suspected was real. I moved into the hallway. Second door on the left. The room we used for storage, Christmas bins, old photo albums, baby clothes we'd never need again. The kids never came in here. I dropped to my knees and pulled up the frayed corner of the rug. The floorboards beneath were loose. I'd noticed that weeks ago, back when I was looking for the circuit breaker. One by one, I pried them up. There was a box. A wooden one, old and stained, with a cheap latch. I hesitated, suddenly unsure. But then I opened it. Inside were photos. Dozens of them. Men. All different ages. Different backgrounds. Some dressed up, some shirtless. Some tied up. Some were dead. I felt my stomach turn as I flipped through them. Some were taken inside hotel rooms, others in cars. One was taken in our bedroom. I recognized the headboard. And then I saw something that froze the blood in my veins. A photo of me. Sleeping. Taken from just a few feet away. Beneath that, another photo. Of Max. At the park. Taken from behind the slide. What the hell is this? I stormed back into the kitchen, box in hand. Anna was waiting. Calm again. Too calm. "You found it," she said. "Who took these? Who are these men? Why is there a photo of our son?" She sipped her wine. "Some of those were mine. Some. Logan's. The rest? I don't know anymore. He keeps trophies. You think I'm the only one who was broken?" I stared at her, mouth dry. "You let him near our kids?" "I kept him in check," she said, almost proudly. "As long as I gave him what he wanted, he listened." "And what did you want?" She tilted her head. To know what it felt like to hold fear in your hand. I didn't even realize I was backing away until I hit the doorframe. I needed air. I needed out. But just as I turned toward the front door, I heard it. A faint knock. I froze. Anna smiled. "That'll be Logan." The knock came again. Louder this time. 3 sharp raps. I grabbed the shotgun from behind the door. Anna didn't move. Didn't even blink. "Open it," she said. "Let's finish this." Instead, I walked to the back door. Slipped out quietly. Circling around the house with the shotgun tight in my grip, breath shallow, heart hammering like a war drum. I crept to the porch. But it wasn't Logan standing there. It was Megan. My sister. Holding Ellie. Eyes wide with panic. "He followed me," she whispered. "He knew where I lived." My world spun. "What?" "I saw him outside this morning," she said, breathless. "He was watching the house." I didn't know what to do. I grabbed Ellie and drove. "The kids are at my neighbor's." But I swear, he was coming for her. For the baby. I grabbed her by the shoulders. "Go around back. Lock yourself in the garage. Don't open for anyone but me." She nodded and ran. I stepped out onto the porch, shotgun raised. The yard was still. Too still. Then a voice floated from the shadows by the tool shed. "You should have let her burn, man," Logan said again, stepping out of the shadows, bare feet crunching on dead leaves. I kept the shotgun steady, barrel aimed at his chest. "Why are you here?" I asked, my voice low and calm, even though my heart was doing somersaults in my ribs. "I told you," he said, grinning like we were old drinking buddies. "She's not done. And neither am I." He looked past me, toward the house. "She called me back." "She's sick," I said. He laughed. "So am I." I took a step closer. "You went to my sister's house. You watched my kids." He smiled wider. "I watched your life. I watched it unravel. And it was beautiful." "You come near them again," I said, cocking the shotgun, "and I swear to God." He raised both hands slowly. "I'm not here for them tonight. I'm here for her." Something in his voice changed then. Less smirk, more obsession. Like she was a religion to him. A purpose. "I don't think she wants you anymore," I said. He tilted his head. "Then why'd she leave me that letter?" "What letter?" He reached into the back pocket of his jeans, slowly, and pulled out a crumpled envelope. Threw it on the ground between us. I glanced down. My name wasn't on it. His was. "She left it in the drawer at that motel. Room 9, he said. "The place where we met. Where she made me feel real. She said she couldn't promise forever, but she could promise purpose." He licked his lips. "Do you know what that means to a man like me?" I didn't answer. I just pulled the trigger. The blast knocked him backwards into the dirt with a sharp grunt. I expected screaming. Flailing. Something. But Logan just lay there. And laughed. "She's watching," he whispered. And then he stopped laughing. Stopped moving. I stood over him for a long time. Couldn't tell if I was trembling from adrenaline or horror. Maybe both. When I finally looked up, Anna was in the window. Her expression unreadable. One hand pressed against the glass. I walked back inside, past her, straight into the bathroom. Washed the blood from my hands in silence. When I looked into the mirror, I didn't see the man I used to be. I saw someone harder. Someone colder. Someone I didn't fully recognize. That night, I buried Logan out in the woods behind the old fence line. The one where the grass never grew right and the air always felt damp. He went into the ground with the same smirk still frozen on his face. I told myself it was over. But it wasn't. Because later that night, I found a second letter. Folded neatly under my pillow. My name was on this one. You never understood me. You still don't. You think I'm some monster because I didn't want to be like everyone else. But the truth is, I gave you everything for years, and you never saw me. Logan saw me. And he saw what I could become. You killed the wrong man. I'm not done yet. I sat there on the edge of the bed, reading it again and again, feeling the walls close in. She wasn't running. She was planning. And the scariest part? I didn't know what, or who, came next. After I read her letter a fifth time, I went cold. It wasn't the words that got me, it was the certainty behind them. She hadn't just written a threat. She'd written a promise. Anna had always been unpredictable, but now she was something else entirely, a woman who had found power in manipulation. Thrill in violence. And now, even after I killed her weapon, she wasn't scared. She was ready. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I spent the early hours pacing the hallway, shotgun leaning by the front door, ears tuned to every creak, every gust of wind against the house. But nothing came. At sunrise, I called Megan. Told her to keep the kids another few days. I didn't say why. She didn't ask. I think, somehow, she already knew. By noon, I went back into the storage room. The loose floorboards. The box with the photos. I went through them again, slower this time. I looked for patterns. Names. Anything. One photo had a receipt tucked behind it. I pulled it free. The paper was yellowed, barely readable. A gas station near the state border. The timestamp read, 1:03 a.m., 3 nights ago. That was the night she told me she was going out for milk. She'd driven over 80 miles in the middle of the night. But it wasn't until I turned the photo over that the hairs on my neck rose. There, scrawled in ink I instantly recognized as hers, were 4 words. Next time, no mercy. I knew then this wasn't over. It was just beginning. I went into the garage. Dug through the boxes until I found the black one I hadn't touched in years. My dad's. Inside were old tools, a rusted pocketknife, and a notebook. I opened it, flipping through scrawled diagrams, lists, coordinates. My dad was a paranoid man in life, but maybe not as crazy as we all thought. At the very back was a sketch of the property. Our land. There was a door marked at the edge of the tree line. Bunker entrance, it read. I had lived on this property for 6 years and never seen it. But now I had to. By late afternoon, I found it. Covered in leaves, roots, and thyme, half buried beneath an old rusted lawn roller. A trapdoor with a padlock that crumbled in my hands. The hinges screamed as I pulled it open. A short flight of stairs led into darkness. I grabbed my flashlight and went down. What I found was chilling. Old furniture. A mattress. A shelf of canned food. A lantern. A table with several photographs of me and the kids, all taken from a distance, some recent, some years old. And in the center of the table, a burner phone. Still on. Still warm. And next to it, a list. At the top. 1. Ray, done. 2. Lisa, done. 3. Logan, done. 4. Jay, husband, pending. That's when I heard the voice behind me. I was hoping you'd find it. I spun, flashlight beam cutting through the dark. And there she was. Anna. Wearing black jeans and a leather jacket, hair pulled back, no makeup. Her eyes gleamed with something that wasn't rage. It wasn't even hate. It was clarity. "You're sick," I said. She stepped forward. "No. I'm cleansed." Logan was chaos. You were order. I needed both to become something better. You used us. All of us. She smiled gently. "No. I freed you." I aimed the flashlight at her chest. "So what now? You kill me?" She tilted her head. "Why would I kill you? You're the final piece." I blinked. "What? You think I wanted Logan?" she said again, stepping closer into the beam of my flashlight. I didn't answer. Couldn't. My hands were shaking, gun in one, flashlight in the other, heart beating like it was trying to tear out of my chest. "I never wanted him," Anna continued. "He was just the spark. The test. The thing that makes you finally see me. You made him kill people," I said through clenched teeth. She shrugged. "And they deserved it. Ray, Lisa, you don't know the whole story. They weren't innocent. And Logan? He was a blunt instrument. Then what does that make me?" She smiled. "You were the one I couldn't control." That's when I understood. It wasn't about love. Or power. It wasn't even about killing. It was about winning. And she saw the entire world as a chessboard. Anna moved again, this time sitting at the small wooden table like we were about to share coffee. "You were never meant to die. You were meant to break. And now? Now I want to see what happens when you realize I already won." I stepped forward, gun leveled. "You don't scare me anymore." She didn't flinch. "I don't need to. I've already taken everything from you. The kids, your sleep, your identity. You're not the man you were 6 months ago. You're not a father. You're not a husband. You're a mirror, and you hate what you see." The silence after that was thick. I wanted to shoot her. Right there in that bunker. But I didn't. Instead, I took the phone from the table. The burner she'd left with that kill list. I dialed 911. She watched me do it. "You think they'll believe you?" she asked calmly. I didn't answer. I just put the phone on speaker and said, "This is James Carter. I need to report a series of murders. I have evidence. And I'm holding the person responsible." The dispatcher asked for details. I gave them everything. Names. Locations. Dates. The photos. The bunker. Logan's body. Anna just smiled through it all. She never once protested. Never even tried to run. When the call ended, she looked up at me and said, "You finally did something right. Just in time." 30 minutes later, the property swarmed with police. Anna was cuffed, taken quietly. No struggle. She even waved at me as they closed the car door. They searched the bunker. The photos. The list. It was all there. But that wasn't the twist. That came 2 days later. I was sitting in Megan's living room, kids asleep in the back. The news was on in the background. A small headline crawled across the bottom of the screen. "Breaking: 2 victims in Carter murder case alive and in custody. Confessed to fraud scheme." I blinked. What? The anchor spoke over crime scene footage. Authorities now confirm that the previously assumed murder victims, Raymond Shaw and Lisa Fenton, were in hiding after participating in a multi-state blackmail and identity theft operation. They were located in a safe house registered under a false identity, reportedly maintained by Logan Myers. Ray. Lisa. Alive? Suddenly it hit me like a freight train. Anna never killed them. She'd staged it. The photos, the blood, the panic, it was all misdirection. She'd used Logan to scare them into hiding. To frame herself. She wanted to be caught. I drove to the sheriff's office that night, asked to see her. They allowed it. She was in an orange jumpsuit, hands chained to the table, that same calm look on her face. "You knew they were alive," I said. "Yes," she replied. "Why?" Anna leaned forward, voice quiet. "Because real control doesn't come from chaos. It comes from sacrifice. They were pieces I had to give up to prove to you, and to the world, what I could do. You'll go to prison. I'm already free." I stared at her. "I won, James," she whispered. "Because now, you have to live with all of it. The doubt. The fear. The knowledge that you almost became me." She smiled again, wider now. "You liked it when you killed Logan. Don't lie to yourself." I left that room and never went back. She was sentenced to 20 years without parole. But the final move? She made that before she was even arrested. 3 months after the trial, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a photo. Me. Standing at Logan's grave. Taken from a distance. And on the back. Still watching. I burned it. I changed our names. Moved the kids across the country. Started over. But some nights, when the wind hits the house just right, I still hear her laugh. And I wonder if the storm ever really passed. Or if it just changed its shape.